she would go in our garden in the back and chase the squirrels, and we couldn't bring her back inside. It's fenced in, but then she was eating through the fence to get to the squirrels in my neighbor's yard. Walking her was nearly impossible. When we would be walking her, if she saw a squirrel, we just held on for dear life. I was freaking out, between the pulling with the dogs and the pulling to get to the squirrels, and it was like so crazed. It was frenetic, and she would barking and lunging and pulling, and I was like, what are we going to do? Like, what do you do about this?
Living with a dog with a high prey drive can be very, very challenging. And today I am very excited to welcome Diane and her dog Lucy. Diane is a participant in my PST Master Course, Call of the Chase. And together we're going to talk a bit about the ups and downs of living with a high prey drive dog. But Diane is much more than just a dedicated dog guardian. She's also a specialist on plant-based cooking, and she's offering her own online courses on vegan cuisine. And she is the author of several books, including guides on what to expect when you are adopting a dog. And what I find super interesting is that two of these books are children's books on these topics. So, as you can imagine, Diane is a very inspiring person. And later in our conversation, we are also touching down on her courses and her books. And of course, I will link everything for you in the notes to this video. But first of all, welcome, Diane. Thank you so much for joining me for this little interview. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about the star of this interview, your dog Lucy?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this interview, Simone. I'm inspired by you all the time. So thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful to be here.
You're
So yes,
welcome.
I'm Diane Rose Solomon. I live in Los Angeles, California. And as Simone just mentioned, I've been writing books about animal rescue for a number of years. We accidentally adopted our first dog in 1995, and from there it's just grown, and it's been important to me to talk about these things. And then in November of 2024, just last year, we adopted a new dog. Both of our dogs had passed, and we were ready to adopt a new dog. And our plan was to have a medium-sized dog who was at least 3 years old, calm, and that's not what we ended up taking home. We ended up with we don't know exactly what she is, but she appears to be a shepherd terrier, like a pit bull type dog mix, maybe some boxer. We don't know. She's so strong, and I'm not a kid anymore. And we very quickly learned that she is leash reactive with other dogs, has a huge high prey drive, and squirrels are her nemesis. And we have so many squirrels in fact, she's sleeping right next to me, and I can get the camera down. I don't know if you can see her.
Oh, there she
There's
is.
Lucy. For the first few weeks, she wouldn't sleep either.
Oh my
She
God.
just, yeah, we didn't know what to do with her. She was so amped up. And then if we would, finally get her to go to sleep, and you could see like she just wanted that so badly.
Wow.
So it's been quite the journey getting us. It's 10 months into our adoption with her, and life is dramatically better, in part thanks to you, Simone.
Oh my God, yeah. So I was just thinking of the quote, you don't get the dog that you want, you always get the dog that you need to
Yes.
grow and to learn. And I can absolutely imagine when you say you wanted a calm dog that you can enjoy, calm walks, and now you got Lucy.
Yeah. And in fact, you mentioned the book that I wrote in 2016, What to Expect When Adopting a Dog. I really need to rewrite that book now.
Wow, yeah. So Lucy
Well,
gave you
oh, because I've
inspiration.
learned so much, because I had only based that upon my experience with all my previous dogs. And some of them had prey drive, some of them had leash reactivity. but she's quite the package. So,
Yeah, I can imagine. So can you tell us a little bit about the situation when you decided to join the PST Master Course? How did you feel at that time? What was life like with Lucy at that time?
oh, she wasn't asleep. She slept at night, but walking her was nearly impossible. My husband was doing all the morning walks because that's when her energy is highest. We hadn't figured out a routine with her yet either. And she would go in our garden in the back and chase the squirrels, and we couldn't bring her back inside. It's fenced in, but then she was eating through the fence to get to the squirrels in my neighbor's yard. So she was destroying everything and barking this high pitched bark. And when we would be walking her, if she saw a squirrel, we just held on for dear life,
Mm,
and birds too, birds too. But Los Angeles, where we live by the beach. It's suburban where we live, so it's not rural. We don't have the beautiful trees like you have where you are, but we have the beach. And I was freaking out, between the pulling with the dogs and the pulling to get to the squirrels, and it was like so crazed. It was frenetic, and she would barking and lunging and pulling, and I was like, what are we going to do?
yes.
And so yeah, we were really frustrated. I was so upset.
Mm,
And it was like, what are we going to do? We've got this dog. We didn't want to give up on her.
mm.
And so then I started my search.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So you started your search for a course that could help you or for a
I
trainer that could
wasn't
help
even,
you?
it wasn't even a course. I just was searching high prey drive,
Hybrid.
and Googled, like, what do you do about this?
Yeah, yeah.
And you came up, and you hadn't even considered a course. It
Ah,
wasn't even,
okay.
I wasn't even thinking of course, but
Yeah.
I said to my husband, wait, we have to check this out.
Okay.
And
So was there something on the course that you thought this is a must-have, this is something that will change something for us, a specific feature or something like this?
the whole course just looked approachable. And first of all, I liked you. You were very approachable.
Thank
And I thought, well, if we're going to play games to work with our dog, I thought that was really cool. Like, this is a good way to work with a dog, to be playing games. And it's not something that's what I was familiar with. And I showed it to my husband. I was like, look, I'm like, this is really comprehensive.
Mm.
There's so many things that we can learn here. We haven't even finished it yet, Simone. I think we're
Yeah.
only in module 9, and we've already gotten so much out of it. And we're just doing it slowly. Um, but it was certainly affordable. When you're, the other thing I didn't mention is that when she was inside the house and saw the squirrels outside the house, I was afraid she was going to go through the glass door.
Yeah. Hmm.
And um, so that was possibly like the last straw. Like, what are we going to do here? So when I
Yeah.
saw your course, I'm like, well, we have to do something. This looks really approachable. I already liked you and the way you were teaching very much. And so we did it. And from moment one, we were just learning, 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 learning. And it's been great. Yeah. And, one of the wonderful attributes to your course is that you host a monthly Q&A.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this, and you said, "Oh, get a film for," and I didn't even know that, like, it never would have occurred to me to do something like that. And it's not ideal, but it's not forever. And it changed everything, Simone.
Hmm.
Like, so your advice was perfect, and it helped start calming her down inside. And she's not looking to go through the window anymore because she can't really see, but we still get some light in. So thank you for that tip. That was
Yeah, you're
great.
welcome. Just for reference, what Diane is talking about is it's very simple for dogs to, or it's not very simple for dogs to calm down inside the house when they have this constant trigger of watching wildlife through the window. So there is a very simple solution for that. You can just use stained glass film that you can buy for a couple of dollars or euro on Amazon, and you put it onto the window and you still have the light coming in, because I had clients who were living in darkness
Mhm.
because of their dogs. And this cannot be the solution, that you live in darkness like a vampire. But it can also not be the solution to have a dog who is constantly triggered by what is going on outside in the garden or in the street. Sometimes it can be very simple and it can make a big difference. So then you started doing the course, and was there something that surprised you during the course, or yeah, can you share an example of what helped you during the course?
Well, that's one of them. Um, what surprised me was how available you are. I mean, not, now that I know you a little bit better, I'm not surprised, but you run a lovely business, and yet you're very approachable, which is really,
Mm,
really helpful. But also how effective the games are that
mm,
that we play. Part of the course is understanding the whole prey drive sequence. So that was really helpful to learn that. But then what do you do with that? How do you work with your dog? And the different games, I still play them. I mean, she's much more in tune. Okay, so this is what's great, is that not only do the games that we play with her help with the prey drive, but they also help with the leash reactivity, because
yeah.
ultimately what they're doing is they're bringing her back to me. They're focusing her back on me, as opposed to being so focused on her environment. She
Mm,
sees me as the treat person. I
yeah.
always have good treats. And so it's helped us develop a relationship, whereas we were so separate in the beginning, and I just had this crazed dog looking for squirrels and birds and whatever else she could find. And now she's so much more focused on me. And the walks are, I'm still on high alert when we're walking because I have to be,
Yes.
but I trust us. Like, we have tools now to
Mm,
deal with this. And, we can always turn around. That's part of it. Just turn around the other way.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, what you say is very common, that it has an
Mhm.
effect in other areas of life as well. And when you think about it, it's relationship bond and bond building. So it makes sense that it also has an effect in other areas as well. And what I like especially about the games approach, this is the way that I want to learn and the
Mhm.
way that I want to engage with my dogs in playing games. Because when you tell a person that now we're playing a game, this also takes a lot of pressure from the human,
Mhm.
because we both know that living with a dog with a high prey drive can be really stressful. And
Yeah.
at some point, everybody tells you have to do something about this, and you tell yourself you have to do something about this. And now we go in with games, and I hope that from through this approach, it takes away some of the pressure and brings back fun into the relationship with your dog.
100%, 100%.
So I am not fishing for compliments, because I know, as I already said, living with a high prey drive dog is challenging. It's
Yeah.
always an up and down, and I totally, uh, yeah, double down on what you just said, that you have to be alert all the time. But can you tell us a little bit about the results that you achieved? So what is the emotional thing? What are your feelings? What are the situation? Did something change or shift for you in the relationship with Lucy, or in the way you are able to walk with her?
First of all, she's calmed down dramatically. Part of
Okay.
it's her own settling in. But if we hadn't had these tools and these games, what would she be settling into? You
Hmm.
know, um, we feel more confident with her, and it's far from perfect. My husband still walks her in the mornings. I do sometimes in the morning, but we have the routine, but it's just dramatically better with her. And we have tools now from keeping her from getting overexcited most of the time. It, you
Hmm.
know, it, she's still not even 2 years old. She's still a young dog.
She's a baby.
She's still a baby.
Yeah,
And we've still only had her for not even 10 months.
yeah.
So I was talking to a trainer friend of mine the other day. She said, just give it even one more year. You keep practicing all of, she said, you're going to have a dramatically different dog. And so, as I said, I'm still on high alert, but I have confidence that I can handle her. And and her lunging and everything that she does, it's just calmer. And she also recovers much quicker,
Hmm.
which is huge. It used to be if she saw a squirrel, she was crazed for like minutes and minutes and minutes. And now she sees a squirrel, she gets excited. We turn another way. We whatever game we're playing. But even playing the games, it makes it fun. It makes the walks fun. Target. Oh yeah, this is fun. So she's not so focused on her, looking for the squirrels. We're doing
Hmm.
something else. So I it's just overall, it's just been really helpful on so many levels, and I'm grateful.
Cool. Yeah. So you're doing really a good job teaching her that she can live in her outside world. She can be a
Mhm.
dog, but when you need her, she is also able to check in with you in your human world. And I know this is a constant work that you need to do here. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, for
is there something possible for you now that was not possible in the past?
um, yes, it's that I can take a few deep breaths with her before we head out the door, and
Okay.
I can trust that we're going to make it back okay from
That's
from our
good.
walk. Yeah, and in the
That's really
beginning,
good.
I wasn't sure. I was
Mhm.
I wasn't sure because I have a shoulder injury from another one of our previous dogs,
Yeah,
and then she kind of re-injured it, and I thought, am I going to be able to do this? But now I know that I'm confident with that we're going to be, and we'll probably even have a good time too.
that's cool.
And
Yeah.
which is, it's not 100%, as I said. And my husband and I report back to one another. Here's what happened on our walk, and here's who was there, and here's what we did. And oh, did you do the orientation game? Oh, yes, but she didn't really need to play the game too much because she kept turning back to me. We didn't need to stop too much. Okay, great. So we can see her figuring it out. It's really quite lovely to see.
That's lovely. Yeah. What would you say to someone who is considering joining the master course?
Don't even hesitate. It's a process. It's a process.
Yeah.
You're not going to have it down after the first module. As I said, we haven't finished the class, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is something that takes
Absolutely.
some time to do. But the tools and the support in the course are fantastic. It's really quite an amazing package between what you learn, what you implement, and then having you on the monthly Q&A to be able to ask specific questions. It's well worth the money. That's what I would say.
Okay, thank you very much, Diane.
You're
So
welcome.
we already mentioned in the beginning that you are also a writer and author of very interesting books. And yeah, you are doing so much. When I was preparing for our interview, I was like, what else is she doing? This is amazing. I didn't even expect that. So I saw on your email address that you are doing plant-based cooking courses. But I never expected the documentaries and the books and the children's books. So I was really excited when I prepared for this talk with you. So how can people who are interested in your offers and what you have to offer, how can they find you? And can you talk a little bit about your business?
Oh, sure. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes. So the name of my business is What's Plant-Based Cooking Good Looking. And I don't know if you've ever heard this said before, but in English, we have a saying like, What's cooking good looking?
Mm-hmm,
It's sort of
mm-hmm,
an old-fashioned thing. And so I just put the plant-based in there. So what's plant-based cooking good looking? And I was just very inspired when I started, when I first became vegan. I didn't know how to cook anything
mm-hmm.
vegan. And And I was sad because I wanted to at least cook for my family. And so it was a process. I took a vegan cooking class, and all of a sudden, like the weird vegan ingredients, plant-based ingredients weren't so weird anymore. And I decided if I can get dinner on the table, anybody can get dinner on the table because I'm not a trained chef. And so I started teaching classes a year and a half ago. It's so much fun. I love it. And I've even partnered with some healthcare professionals who talk about the health benefits of plant-based for diabetes, for heart disease, for cancer, for our emotional health. So some of my classes are partnered with those people. And yeah, so I originally went vegan for the animals and then learned about the health benefits of
Mhm.
plant-based. And it's it's kind of a no-brainer for me to stick with it. So yes, I write articles on Substack about this topic. I'm writing a book right now. It's a short book. Um, and I have the cooking classes. Everything that I've done live is recorded, so they're available on my website. And
And we're going to link this as well.
okay, great. Yes, and I'd like to offer a coupon for a discount to your audience.
Yes.
So
Exactly. So we have a coupon, and this coupon will lead you to no, we have several things basically. We have a freebie
yeah,
that can be downloaded. We have a coupon that gives you how much was it on the
30% off
30,
classes.
30% on the classes.
Mhm.
And your freebie, I know that you just polished it up a little bit. What how is it helpful for people? So what can people
It's a
learn from the freebie?
really short ebook. It's just a quick overview about plant-based eating for our health, for the environment, for animals. And it's 10 pages long. So it's
Mhm.
just really quick, but my hope is that maybe it'll spark something. Oh, I hadn't thought of that before.
Yeah.
And and people might have some interest. And I'm available to help people from a coaching perspective, or from cooking perspective, or just anybody's welcome to reach out to me and ask questions. I'd like to make myself as available as you make yourself. So
Okay, good. And can you tell us also a little bit about the books that you have written? They are available on Amazon.
well, the book, What to Expect When Adopting a Dog, is available on Amazon. As I said, if I could do it again, I would rewrite it to talk about more of the challenging dog stuff that I didn't really include. And then the two kids' books, one was JJ, the American Street Dog, and how he came
Mhm.
to live in our house. And that was really our story about how we accidentally adopted our first dog. And then I think it's really important to train our dogs. And so I wrote JJ Goes to Puppy Class. And so those two are available. People can reach out to me directly. I think you can purchase them on my website under the About section, and I can ship them. I wasn't shipping overseas, but since your audience is all around the world, we could work
Yeah.
something out.
Yeah, right. So is it basically also a download or is it a printed book?
Those are all printed books.
Oh, it's printed books.
The,
Okay,
the,
good.
the What to Expect When Adopting a Dog on Amazon is also available as an ebook.
As ebook.
Yeah, either
Yeah,
one.
okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah. So a lot of people in who are watching this are in the US, so I think they might definitely want to take a look here.
Yeah,
Right. And the documentaries? I
that
need
was
to
a
know
lot of,
about them too. They
yeah, thanks. So I had learned years ago about the power of the human-animal bond. I mean, anybody watching this knows how important our dogs are to us. But then I started learning about how therapy animals help people. And I mean, in our day-to-day life, even just petting a dog calms us down. There was actual science and research about this, and also about service animals. And I thought, wow, this is really cool. Maybe more people should know about this. So I came home from a conference where I met the CEO of the Human Animal Bond Research Institute, which is where I started learning about all of this stuff. And I was so excited. And at the time, I was volunteering for an organization that pairs troubled youth with shelter dogs. And what the kids were doing is they were helping train the dogs so that they would become more adoptable. It's a great program. And so they think they're helping the dogs get more adoptable, but these troubled youth, many of whom have been on drugs or have committed crimes, they're learning to care for another being. I'm actually getting chills thinking about it, what a
Mm.
great program it is. And and so had been volunteering there, and I said to the leader of that program, I just came back and I found out about this human animal bond research. She said, well, you should make a documentary. So I started making some short documentaries. They're available for free on my website, also
Yes.
under the About Diane section. They're
Yeah.
short, they're like 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And my intention was to make a big docu-series. I had the whole thing planned out, but it ended up not being my path to do that. So I ended up going down the plant-based path. So
This is so interesting. Wow, amazing. Thank you very
thank
much,
you.
Diane.
Thank you so much, Simone.
Wow. So thank you so much for doing this interview with me and for letting me a part of your training journey with Lucy. And yeah, you also wrote a blog post about your training journey with Lucy, and I'm also going to put it into the
Right.
notes. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing more from you and Lucy in our next Call of the Chase Q&A sessions. I feel like I already know your dog because I know so much about her from our Q&As.
Yeah.
So please give Lucy a big treat for me tonight when she wakes up.
Okay, I will.
And thank you again for being here today.
Oh, thank you, Simone. It's really been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.